Are you guys hearing me now? Sorry about that. I did not realize I had no sound. I'm gonna assume that it is working now. I see my audio meters going. Okay, there we go. Sorry about that, guys. We're gonna quickly run through that again. So, basically, the intention today is to go over the iPhone 16e and some of the tech specs of that, and actually go to Apple's website, look at their comparison page, and see some of the differences between this model and other models that Apple is selling currently. I definitely have some thoughts on it. I think that there is almost too much missing for the price, but we'll go into that much more detailed in a moment here. Then I do want to just talk about just some general tech news around other products coming out soon, including the iPhone 17 lineup and some of the rumors that we know about now. Like Front Page Tech has officially, they have released some renders of what the iPhone 17 should be looking like from what they've seen themselves. And this late in the game, they're usually pretty accurate. So we're going to go through those if you guys haven't seen them already and discuss what we think about those designs, as they are definitely a little interesting. Yeah, 16E is weird. That is what they're calling it. It's replacing the iPhone SE because they don't sell it anymore. So yeah, a really interesting device. And I think it could be good for a group of people, but I also think that Apple shouldn't have made some of the choices that they did make with it. Let me just put it that way. Then I also just want to mention that I now have my white pen loop in stock, yeah, on the website too. I will update. I don't know if it says in stock yet, but if it doesn't, I will change that. We have some printed out, ready to go. And yeah, the white plastic looks really nice. I think it color matches pretty good. So I'm excited about that. I've been using that lately, and the quality feels just as good as the black plastic. So yeah, no problems there. Then I really quick want to talk about how I've been using this phone as a camera for my videos. I filmed 3 of them just recently with that phone, and one of them you just saw posted late last night. I was up till 3 in the morning doing that. So yeah, there's fun there, but basically I want to discuss some of the benefits of using this phone as a top-down camera, what you guys thought of the quality and things like that, because I think it turned out really nice. And if you haven't seen that video yet, I don't blame you. It was posted very late. So yeah, I think that's kind of what we'll be hitting on today. Really quick, I'll just plug the website again. So Graf-X Industries /products/tech. If you want any kind of merch that we sell there, it's all going to be on that page of the website. I also sell that pen loop that I was just mentioning. I'm working on other Supernote products as well. Like I'm working on this dust cover that will fill in the grooves when you don't have the folio connected. That's going to be a work in progress. I have not made any progress on that since the last time you've seen it, so I'm not really going to show it off today, but that is coming soon, hopefully in a week or two on the website, and I'll make an announcement video for that one as well. But yeah, and if you guys have any suggestions on these 3D printed products, or hey, these are just seeming really expensive, or anything like that, and you want to know the reasoning why things are priced how they are, just let me know. I don't mind answering those kind of questions. They don't bother me at all. I'm not going to be offended. And if you just don't want them, I don't really care. It's all up to you. All right. So let's actually go into, we're going to talk about my video, I think, first. And I'm going to get that set up for you guys in just a second here. Sorry, I should have had this one ready to go. All right. All right, we're going to switch to that view now. So here is my latest video. And yeah, this is coming through a live stream, so it's not going to be even as good of quality. So I encourage all of you to please watch this video after this live stream if you haven't seen it already. But basically what I want to show is just, yes, there is no sound. That's intentional because I'm not really watching the video right now. But as you can see, I think it keeps clarity. So I zoomed in like about 2 times for this shot here, and it keeps that clarity pretty well. It's recorded in 8K video, which the iPhone can't do, unfortunately. I think technically the sensors are capable of it, but Apple does not allow it to do that. So a little annoying. But yeah, it's really nice being able to have 8K because I can crop in up to 4 times and still have that perfect 4K image. So let me know what you guys think of this video, but I think this is actually right here about full 4 times zoom and still having really good clarity and resolution overall. I mean, it's not perfect, but it's pretty good. So yeah, I really like that. I think it looks perfect for the most part. Way better than when I would zoom in this much on my iPhone as a top-down camera, just because, yeah, it's already recording at 4K, so cropping in on that at all just ruins that resolution pretty quickly. So yeah, let me know in the chat if you guys are able, like what you guys think of this top-down camera, how it looks. I know I'm being very brief here and just scrubbing through the video, and it will be better when you guys can watch it outside the live stream, but yeah, I think it looks really nice here. I recommend watching this video though if you are a Supernote owner and you're debating whether or not this pen loop is for you. It does a pretty good job, I think, of breaking down the reasons to get it and not to get it, and you get a little sneak peek as to the 3D printing process in a moment here as well, which I think is kind of fun. I forgot that they have the time lapses recorded, so I put that in the video here. So yeah, I think that's pretty neat. All right, now we're gonna go into some other stuff here, starting with the iPhone 16e. And this is a really interesting release here from Apple. Let's go to learn more. Tell me all about you, iPhone 16e. So this is what it looks like if you guys haven't seen it. Of course, they're touting the built for Apple intelligence, even though Apple intelligence is pretty dumb right now. So I don't know if that's really something you want to be bragging about. But yeah, they say it's a beautiful design. Looks a little recycled, but that's all right. And then it does get the latest chip. That's really nice. With an asterisk, there is a difference with that chip. The battery, though, objectively is fantastic. It's 26 hours of video playback. It's the best battery life in any 6.1-inch iPhone that they've ever made. So objectively, that's amazing. Can't complain. And they gave it only one lens, but they gave it their best lens, the 48 megapixel Fusion, which is the greatest one they have right now, really. So yeah, that is an acceptable camera system, I think. I'm not really too upset about the cameras for the price. What's really interesting is that now they actually allow you to put visual intelligence shortcut through the action button. And why that's so interesting is they used to limit that to the, I don't have my 16 down here, it's up in case I need a camera control, in case I need a top-down shot, but they limited the visual intelligence feature to the camera control button on the iPhone 16 lineup. And that was really the only reason they didn't give visual intelligence to the 15 Pro and Pro Max and the iPads. And I'm like, okay, fine, whatever. I still think it's a little arbitrary, but sure. Now they're letting it be on the action button as well, which is just pretty, I don't know, weird. I think they really need to bring it to the 15 lineup too, if they're doing this. There's just no good reason that this is limited to the 16 lineup, which I guess the 16E is part of now. But again, there's no way that the A18 chip is really that much better at AI that the A17 Pro just can't handle visual intelligence. It's just not a thing. And what's really interesting is, let's see if I can find it here. I know that they showed it somewhere on these. Yeah, by the way, this doesn't really boost your productivity a whole lot, writing tools. There's not a lot there. The only thing I ever use is the Compose with ChatGPT. That's okay. And then recording your phone calls is kind of nice, as an option. And the new Mail app, objectively, is really good. But even phones that doesn't have Apple Intelligence, they still get the new Mail app. They just don't get these priority summaries and messages. Cleanup is okay, and none of these other features are that good at all. Then a new era for Siri. I mean, so far, yeah, it's got this better language understanding, and it can do the user guide, but it does not have personal context awareness at this point, or anything that great, to be honest. So again, it just kind of outsources the ChatGPT and calls it a day. So it is what it is. Yeah, so they call it a fusion camera because it's a 48 megapixel, so you can crop in on the middle sensors and get a 2x optical zoom, which is nice. I mean, I don't complain about that. Again, I think the camera is fine for what you're paying for. Here it is. So visual intelligence, again, is mentioned here. And you can use visual intelligence through the action button or control center to instantly learn about objects and places you see. So again, this better come to the 15 lineup, and honestly, to the iPads. There is no reason that you can't put the same option in control center. I mean, the M4 chip is definitely more powerful than the A18 Pro, or A18 and A18 Pro chip. So yeah, they need to give that to the iPads and 15 Pros. That just doesn't make sense to do it any other way. So yeah, overall, I was like, okay, that's not a terrible phone. It's all right. But the big thing is when you start to compare all these models here, and yeah, it just gets a little weird. So I'm going to put the 15 here, and then the 16 and the 16E, because these are all still being sold by Apple right now, and they're very close in price. $599, $699, and $799. They're all 6.1 inches. They both have aluminum with a glass back. The 15 only has the ring and silent switch. Both the 16 and the 16E have the action button, and they both have Apple Intelligence. This doesn't have color infused glass back though, because it only really has black and white, which is fine. But yeah, so the A18 chip is in both of these, and the A16 chip is in the 15, which honestly, the A16 is fine. It wasn't the greatest ever, but it's a fine chip. It's only like a generation or two old. So yeah, it's not going to be a bad chip at all. 6-core CPU, 5-core GPU. But on this 16E, look at the asterisks here, it's got a 4-core GPU, not a 5-core GPU. So not going to be quite as powerful in the graphics department. And again, of course, they never mentioned this during the event. I mean, I don't blame them. It's a minute detail, but still, it's interesting that they take that away. Like, what is the benefit of that? Yeah, I don't know. This does not have the camera control button, which also begs the question of, will Apple keep the camera control button around forever? Probably. They're probably going to try to make a case for how good it is, but clearly they don't believe in it so much where they're putting it on even their cheap model and trying to push it on everybody. So I don't know. We'll see how that goes. And then looking down here, so camera, yep, no macro photography, which makes sense because it uses the ultra wide for that. No spatial videos and photos, makes sense, uses the ultra wide for that. And no visual intelligence on the 15, doesn't have Apple Intelligence, so that also makes sense. And then the new 16E does not have a dynamic island, it has the notch again. It's the smaller one from like the 13 Pros and the 14s, but yeah, not any cool, fun, dynamic island animations or anything like that, which is a little sad, but tolerable. And then here is the big selling point for the 16E, 26 hours of video playback, 4 more than the regular 16. This is still the regular 16. And then 6 more hours than the 15. Both of these are sold on Apple's website for more than the 16E right now. So there is definitely a case to be made for this phone, but we're not done yet. This 16E does not have the latest generation ceramic shield like the 16, so that should be more tougher. Well, it should be more resistant to cracking and things like that than even the 16E, but this is the same as the 15, so that's fine. Now, this to me is the big what and why. So both of these phones have MagSafe. MagSafe has been around since the iPhone 12. And yet the 16E does not get MagSafe. It's not even like Qi 2 ready, where it still supports those 15 or higher watt speeds. It just doesn't have the magnets in. It's just Qi wireless charging, up to 7.5 watts. That's really slow wireless charging. And honestly, in 2025, it's kind of unacceptably slow for this. And yeah, I agree. No MagSafe is a big miss. I think this will turn some people off from this phone. I mean, it turns me off from this phone. Obviously, I'm not the target audience. I have the Pro Max and stuff like that. I'm not the one they're marketing to with this phone. But yeah, it's a little weird, and it puts it in a awkward position. You can add magnets in a case to this phone, and some people have been saying like, oh, it's not a big deal. You can just get a case that has magnets in it and it works just fine. Not really. It still will be limited to that 7.5 watts permanently. It does not support MagSafe at all. It's not like they just didn't put the magnets in. So like the S25 Ultra here, it's considered Qi 2 ready. So it does not have the magnets built into the phone itself, but if you get a case that has the magnet ring built in, or if you just add like an adhesive magnet ring, it will support the speeds of MagSafe and Qi 2 wireless charging stands. Yeah, it definitely feels like a step backwards to me. I mean, I know this is supposed to be the cheap model kind of thing, but I just feel like this is a bad move by Apple, and they also built such a huge ecosystem around MagSafe and MagSafe accessories, and they've been doing this for years now, and it's great. And I wish more companies would actually put MagSafe into the phone, but they went back, and now they're one of the companies that are making a $600 phone that does not have the magnets in. I'm pretty sure they could have fit those in for not much extra cost. But yeah, I don't know. It just seems like one of those ways where they just limited it to make the regular 16 just look a lot better. So it prices you up the ladder, you know, and now before you know it, you're like, well, for $200 more, I might as well just get the regular 16 because it has MagSafe, it has this, and it now they just use this cheap phone to price you up to the more expensive phone, and that's what it feels like to me. And a great comment there. Cheap, that's very relative here. This phone is still $600. The previous SE was $429. So it's a very significant, I think 70% increase in price. So I agree. I don't think Apple Intelligence is worth the trade-off. I think the regular 15 is probably looking better to me. I mean, you still get a 48 megapixel main camera. And here, let me switch back to that screen for you guys. You still get a 48 megapixel main camera here. And overall, the chip is going to be great and totally fine. You don't get the camera control, but in my experience, it sucks. So don't worry about that. And yeah, a little bit worse battery life, but that is the biggest thing that that the 16E has going for it, is that it can beat even the regular 16 in battery life. That is crazy because it was a big problem with the previous SE, was how terrible battery life was. Something else to consider though is this has less brightness than the last two phones here as well. So only 800 nits versus 1000 on the 15 and the 16, and only 1200 peak versus 1600. And then they have that 2000 peak for outdoors, which this does not say that. So outdoor use of this phone is not going to be as nice. And then of course it doesn't have that 1 nit of minimum brightness like the 16 does. It's technically slightly shorter, not as tall, which is interesting, and it is slightly lighter than these other two. So it's the lightest one out of these three, and that's kind of nice. It's a good size, smaller phone. And then, of course, Apple Intelligence, which, yeah, I really don't think it's worth the trade-offs. At least at its current state right now, Apple Intelligence is not worth going for a brand new phone for. It's just, I wish it was. I really do wish it was, but it's just not right now. So yeah, looking at some of these other changes. Okay, so sensor shift stabilization versus only optical image stabilization. So that's actually pretty big. The sensor shift gives it really good video stability, where not having sensor shift optical image stabilization and just regular OIS, that's very well could degrade the quality of videos. Now, obviously, don't have this in hand at this point. I don't think I probably will get this phone either. But yeah, we'll know more when we can start seeing tests of it in person. But it's not looking great in that respect. It does have night mode, which is cool. Just the regular photographic style. It's not the latest gen one like the 16 does, so there's some limitations there. Or no next gen portraits. Oh, even the 15 has that one. So again, it's just kind of weird. It's in this weird in-between stage where it's got some of the 15, some of the 16 features, but then some less between both of them. Some ways it's even worse than like the 14, and it's kind of a weird phone. And the SE has always been kind of like that, but because they're calling this the 16E and it's part of the 16 lineup, it just makes it feel even more awkward, in my opinion, and confusing to a lot of buyers. No action mode with this one, no cinematic mode either, so if you like that a lot, that's not going to be on here. It does have 4K video recording, which is good. But again, still no sensor shift stabilization, and the quick take video is back to only being, I think, 720p is what's limited to, where this quick take video can do the full 1080p and full 4K on the 16 lineup, which has been nice. I have used that. And that's basically, if you don't know what the quick take video is, it's like when you would go on your phone and pull up the camera app. This is obviously not an iPhone, but if you're on the photo and then you just hold down to video, that's a quick take video. And the iPhones now have like full resolution quick take videos, which I don't even think the Samsung does. It might actually, but I'll check on that. Either way, that's really nice that they do offer that. And again, though, taken away on the 16E. So I don't know what you guys think. Let me know more in the chat if you have any other thoughts, but it's just not looking like a great deal to me, personally at least. So see if there's anything else different that I want to talk about here. There is some difference in the cellular and connectivity. It does not have an ultra wideband chip or thread networking if you are into HomeKit, which is actually really weird. It's the ultra wideband chip is the way you can do things like name drop, where you put two iPhones together and can share contact info, or the tap to airdrop thing where you can put two iPhones together and airdrop something. All that done via the ultra wideband chip. Even like putting your iPhone up to a HomePod to start the music on the HomePod. That is ultra wideband enabled. They've had ultra wideband chips for a while now. So again, it's just a really weird thing to take away. They couldn't have even given it the first generation ultra wideband chip, which would have still given it most of the features. No, they had to limit it they had to completely limit it by taking it away altogether. I wonder if that's has something to do with the fact that they designed their own modem this year. It's like the Apple C1 modem, which means that they're not using the Qualcomm one for 5G. But that also brings me to another limitation, which is it doesn't have millimeter wave 5G, just the sub 6 gigahertz 5G, which is not as good. Now, I don't get in my area millimeter wave very often, but when I do, it's really nice to have. So yeah, that's kind of the situation with the iPhone 16e. Hopefully now you can kind of understand why I find this phone in a really awkward position. This is my personal recommendation to anyone considering this as like a budget alternative for the iPhone. Look at some refurbished iPhone 15s. I think the Apple Intelligence is not a big enough sell right now. So if you can find a refurbished iPhone 16 for under $500, that might be a better way to go than the 16e. If you can find even a really cheap refurbished iPhone 14, 13, in some ways, those are still better because they have dual camera systems than the 16e. Not in every way, but in some ways they are. And they have the ultra wideband chip and stuff like that. And MagSafe. So it's weird. And I think the only people that the 16e are going to be for is just the people who don't use any of the ultra wideband features, never use MagSafe, and they just want a cheap phone that works. And even to those people, I would say, wait. Don't go and buy it right now. I think carriers and even stores and places like Amazon will probably be discounting this phone. They have been discounting a lot of Apple products lately, so I would wait to not have to pay full price for this. If you can get it more for like $500 or just basically free through your carrier, well then that's your choice there. But even so, I still wouldn't make the choice to get this phone. I think I want to vote with my money here and say I don't even want to really test this. I don't like this phone at all. I don't like what they're doing with it personally. But I also understand that not everyone's going to feel that strongly about it and everything like that. So glad it was good advice for you guys there, and hopefully, hopefully you learned something new about this phone in the details that you never saw before. So we've dived pretty in depth with that, and I figured that would be a nice avenue for the live stream here. that's something I'm going to try to make more standard in these live streams, is just a segment or even a majority of the live stream dedicated to just tech news and updates in the tech world. So I don't typically make videos about leaks and rumors, but on a live stream, I don't mind speculating with you guys. I think that's kind of fun. So that brings me to another thing we're going to look at, which is the supposed designs for the iPhone 17 Pro and iPhone 17 Air leaked from Front Page Tech. So we're just going to look at the designs here. I'm not going to try to play his video too much. I don't want to steal his views, but we're just going to take a little look here. So this is the main part I wanted to show you guys, was this design of the camera bump. And he said he saw this in person, or not in person, but he got to see the actual phone itself, and then he had his team replicate it as a render. So this is not the picture of the device that he saw, but yeah, it's interesting. I think it has some potential. To be honest, it is growing on me a little bit, but my first reaction when I saw it was, ugh. It was not a pleasant first reaction. I just don't understand why we need to make the camera bump this huge when most of the cameras are just right here. But at the same time, I kind of like the idea of it being a little more even and laying a bit more flat on a table. I don't know. This open space in the middle is what's getting me. I don't like that. I feel like there needs to be something happening there. But yeah, I mean, it's going to look different, that's for sure. And we'll finally have a different looking phone. Although this is not much of an edge left on the top here. So hopefully people can make cases that fit it well. Actually, I guess it's pretty similar to how the camera bump is now. It's pretty close to the edge, so it should be fine. But I don't know. That's really interesting. So yeah, that's the 17 Pro, or this might be the Pro Max. I can't remember which one. Yeah, so some leaks were showing like a dual tone design, like it was going to have aluminum on part of the back and then still like an open piece of glass. That's not happening, at least as far as what he knows. The only reason it might look duotoned is because of this huge camera bar that's on the back here. Kind of pixel-like in design, but yeah, still very Apple-like, and keeping that stovetop triple camera setup here. Which, yeah, I mean, it could be worse. To be honest, like I said, it's already growing on me a little bit, and the idea of it being a little more flat on the table does sound really nice. Something, yeah, maybe they can add 2 more cameras. That might fill in the gap a little bit. The problem with that is right here is where the Face ID sensors and cameras are, and that's why they've always had to have this triple camera laid out how they did. They could never do it like above on the top because it would interfere with all the Face ID sensors and stuff like that. And that's why all those leaks about it having 3 cameras straight across, they're wrong. It can't really do that unless they lower it down from the top a good amount. And I think Apple does not like that look more so than even this. So that's why we got this design. I kind of wonder if, because of this bigger bump out, hopefully we'll get more internal space. So maybe they can make a bigger battery or something. I just want this to feel useful. And right now it just seems like a very much an aesthetic change. And I hope they just make it a functional change. We have no leaks or rumors as to what that could be. So I'm just totally speculating. I just hope they make it feel a little more worthwhile. So something else here is, this is supposedly the iPhone 17 Air, which I do like the look of as well. It's going to be pretty ridiculously thin. I like the camera bar on this one better, just because it's not so huge. So that looks pretty nice. Still seems like a lot of space almost wasted, but maybe they'll be for a good reason again. I just don't know. And yeah, that pretty ridiculously thin. Let's see if I can actually. There you go. That pretty ridiculously thin foam. It will be something to hold. I kind of want to get one just to hold it and try it for a little bit. It's supposed to be like 5 millimeters or under, something like that. Something crazy. So maybe even taking the title of Apple's thinnest product from the iPad Pro. So yeah, that will be a cool phone to try. The iPhone 20 will be a full-size bump out for the entire back with 10 cameras in the back. Yeah, who knows? Maybe we'll see how that goes. Hopefully, I don't go too crazy with that. To be honest, I think cameras are getting good enough now on the backs of phones where we can actually start moving away from having so many lenses. Like, I don't think I really want more than 3 on the back of my phone. Even the one camera, which is why I was actually kind of fine with the one camera. It's a really good camera. I almost always use my main lens to do any kind of video or photos, anything like that, because I know it's the best lens. So when I want to take a picture, I try to do it in that one unless I really need the zoom or really need the ultra wide, because I always get the best result. So personally, I think that they can almost do with less lenses now as they just keep getting better. And I'm sure they're going to start coming up with ways to make them have adjustable focal lengths, like hardware-wise, internally. I think that will be something where it can range optically from like 3 to 6x without having to crop into a sensor, but like actual optical change. I know phones have worked on that before. Some of them I think have even done that before. So yeah, that will be interesting. But that's kind of what I have so far today. Not a whole lot of my own news here. It was kind of a busy week for me, just figuring out many different things with like the website, getting that up and running. I had a lot of issues actually getting the 8K footage off this S25 Ultra onto my MacBook. And if you guys want, I can go into some of the details of that even now if you guys are wanting. Otherwise, I can make some kind of follow-up video talking about the best ways to import footage from an Android phone, at least a Samsung phone, to a MacBook here, because I learned a lot, and I learned a lot of do's and a lot of don'ts. So yeah, one of my big lessons that I think I'm going to try and do from now on is record my videos onto an external drive right away. Uh, yeah, I think I will probably do it as a short as well. I think you are only in this comment box. I don't know what you're meaning, but I think you are only in this comment box. Or maybe you're talking to Garrett here, telling him that he's the only one commenting. That is true so far. So, yeah. But yeah, hey, definitely interrupt me. I know I was kind of going off on this iPhone 16e, but if you guys have any unrelated questions, if you have any Supernote questions or anything like that, iPad Pro questions, I really want to answer as many as possible. Oh, I did get an offer to get some iPad accessories in and do a video on that. I think I will do that offer. It will be technically a sponsored video, but don't worry. I made it very clear to them that if I don't like their stuff, I'm going to scream from the rooftops. I'm going to say it. So they can't control, they're not giving me a script or anything like that, but yeah, they're going to be sending that out and sponsoring me for that video. And from what I can tell, based on the listings and stuff, it looks like they are pretty decent products, but you'll see the video come out when it's ready. I just basically agreed to have them sent to me, so we'll see how that goes. Yeah, so I don't like doing like super sponsored stuff very often or anything like that, and this shouldn't be that either. Again, it's not like I'm scripted or anything like that. I have my own views and opinions on it. But yeah, so there's gonna be nothing Nothing bad about that at all. It just helps pay some of the bills, so and helps me even be able to get more products in and be able to review them for you guys. So yeah, it'll be great. Any other questions that you guys have for me before we end today? Unless you guys are really wanting to see that way to transfer files with the S25 Ultra. But otherwise, if it's not something that any of you are personally that interested in, then I'll just save it for a video I'll make on it, because it doesn't really need to be a thing we do right now. But yeah. All right. What's the price? Are you saying for any of like my products, or like what I'm getting in to review? Let me know what you're asking about in particular there. Because if you're asking about like any of my products, like the pen loop here or any of the merch that I have, the pen loop is $13 for the 2-pack. Then I also have a 4-pack on the website for $20, and allowing you to get a bit of a discount actually for getting all 4, so both sizes and both colors. Okay, so my products, great. Why don't we actually just go to my website here, and I can just show you guys straight from that what it looks like. Here, let me just switch over. All right, so here is the website right now, and this is the main pen loop right here. So $13. I do have some pictures of the white one now on the website, so here you guys go for that. I might redo some of these pictures. They didn't turn out quite as nice as I was hoping, and so I might try in a bit of a different environment, getting some hopefully better photos, but this gives the idea for now. And when you choose black, it will go to a picture of the black ones, and when you choose white, it will go to a picture of the white ones, which I think is pretty nice. Some people said they were having some problems at the checkout. I was trying to look at that this morning, but I couldn't really see anything that would have caused that. So just keep me posted. If any of you guys have a problem checking out, or it's not loading or something, just let me know. They basically just said when they added to cart, it was not allowing them to proceed and keep going. But it seems like it's letting me do that. So I don't know where that problem is. It's all powered by PayPal, so it should be pretty easy. So yeah, obviously keep me posted. Let me know if you guys have any kind of issues there. So that is the regular 2-pack, and then here's all 4 pen loops. So it comes with the black and the white in both sizes for $20. And I think that is a really nice discount for getting all of them. And the only reason to get all 4 of them is just to have them for any stylus you might get down the road or anything like that. You're not going to obviously be able to use more than one at a time. So I think this is going to be the most popular way to get them. But hey, if you're wanting all 4, I gave you a discount. And then here's the t-shirt, only $13, just like the pen loop. So this is a steal of a deal for a shirt, custom shirt especially. It's basically just at cost for you guys, so we're not making a lot on there. You are going to be paying for shipping. It's like $5 additionally. So if you get some of these things together, that hopefully will bring down your cost there a little bit as well. But yeah, these bigger sweatshirts too, they are more expensive, like closer to $40, but still for a custom sweatshirt, that's pretty cheap. And yeah, we can't really make it much cheaper than that. So that's where we're at with everything. Glad you like them and thought they were really good. That's cool. I did my absolute best to be as fair and affordable as I possibly could. So yeah, but I still gotta recoup some of the costs of making them and sending them out and stuff like that. So yeah, that is where we're at with that stuff. And I plan on when I finish the dust cover for the Supernote Manta it will be priced very similarly to the pen loops, maybe slightly more. It might be more like $15 to $16, but it's also going to be relatively inexpensive. I have to make sure I measure the amount of plastic that's being used on it. It might actually be less. I forget now, but yeah. So once I get that all dialed in, it should be right around that same price as the 2-pack. Maybe even less, maybe a little bit more. So, all right, guys, I think that's probably where we're going to end it today. Thank you for anyone who was viewing here. It's fun to talk to you guys. I really enjoy it. So same time next week, 11 a.m. So mark it on your calendars if you need to. And yeah, we'll be there. Hopefully I'll have some more updates about the other products for you and some more videos we can talk about. All right. Have a great rest of your day.